What's good, y'all? We back. We back like we never left. Dallas Wings played the Phoenix Mercury. We gotta talk about that joint. You know what I'm saying? Paige Bueckers comes back after missing, God, I don't know how many games. 4, 5 with a concussion. We're gonna talk about it. Give people a few minutes to come in if they wish to come in. Give it a few. What's up? We got one in. We're gonna give it a few. Cause we got a lot to talk about this morning, man. You know what I mean? We got to let loose a little bit. Stretch over on them a little bit. You know what I mean? This coffee ain't bad. I had to go with the ice joint. You know what it is. But anyway, we gotta talk about these Dallas Wings. I'm gonna just go ahead and get started. They feeling as they feeling. And whoever missed it, you're just going to catch the replay. So Dallas Wings go out there, they lose again. Right now, it's like a losing culture. It's like just a losing mentality that's been carrying on since last year, without a doubt. They brought in a couple different players. Obviously, you know, drafting Paige Bueckers helps. They brought in DJ Carrington to try to bring some energy and life and kind of inject some energy into the defensive end, but they're still losing, obviously. So there's going to be many questions. I don't know what moves they're going to try to make down there. You feel what I'm saying? Good morning, Dr. Malik. And good morning, Nicholas. You know. So first, I'm going to talk about Phoenix, right? For real. The Mercury do get some, they got to get some respect here. Shout out to them. Alyssa Thomas, man. Like, I've been telling y'all, not saying y'all didn't disagree, but I've been telling y'all, been making it clear. Alyssa Thomas is that next tier. Right after you talk about your Asians, you talk about your Fees, you talk about your Stewies, right? Right there is Alyssa Thomas. Why you throw Alyssa Thomas on a squad? You just throw him on a team. Because let's make no mistake. The main difference right now between Mercury this year and last year, you got rid of Taurasi, who legend, we know, just 40 years old, the end of the career. You add Alyssa Thomas, who's primarily like kind of the point guard of the team now. It's just a different type of setup, I believe Natasha Cloud, who's in New York, was there last year, right? Or am I wrong about that? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong about that, though, for real. But I believe she was there. But you add Alyssa Thomas, right, and her impact on the floor. I do have to mention that. It's just crazy. Satu got to get respect. Satu, for real. ESPN ranked her top, what was it, 12? Something like that, where they ranked Satu. And I kind of wasn't sure about it. I disagreed, you know what I mean? But for real, if you look at Satu's skill set, her size and everything she brings, she might be somewhere in there. And what's crazy is Kalia Copper's not even back yet. So I think we might have to start talking about the Mercury in the same way we're talking about some of these other top tier teams, especially when Kalia Copper come back. Like they really a surprise. Unless there's going to be a problem with them fitting and all of that, that could be an issue. But I don't perceive that, man. They got some girls, some of them Europeans that I don't understand why Chicago is never able to find. Like that could just come in and just shoot. I forgot the girl's name. The European girl, the blonde hair, she was just dropping all types of threes. That's crazy. Dr. Malik. Oh yeah, absolutely. Khalid Copper's from as I say pretty much every time I talk about Khalid Copper, she's from right over there, right? Well, right now I'm in I'm actually in what you call Wynwood right now. I'm not I'm not in Philly proper. I'm just right outside. Because I'm just, I like to drive out here to get my gas and, you know what I'm saying, come over here and talk my shit. So, but if you want to get to where Khalid Copper was, there's one bus you catch right there. You take that bus to Broad Downey, okay, which is the terminal. You jump on the train. You take that train about 5 stops, jump on one bus, and that's Khalid Copper neighborhood. Just so you understand. Yeah, she from around here. We know. So the Mercury, I just wanted to start out by giving Mercury shout out to them. Like they're not like a joke of a team. You know what I'm saying? That's a real squad that Dallas ain't ready to compete against. I just wanted to open up with that before I really take a deep dive into the Dallas Wings. And then before we start talking about, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know who we're gonna talk about. You know. So Dallas go out there last night, man, and it's a rough little start. Okay, Mercury get off to a quick lead. I think it's like 15 or 12 to like 1 or 2 or something like that, right? And this is before Paige Bueckers starts trying to score, right? So we get to a certain point where Paige Bueckers starts to score, and she just hits like her first 7 shots, like just couldn't miss, just hot. You know what I mean? And I know part of this just came from just being away, and I thought she was away way too damn long. You feel me? And I guess, I don't know, they were being extra precautious. They were getting on my nerves, man, like for a concussion, but I guess I get it, whatever. Paige decided, all right, in this game, F it. Distributing, all that other stuff that I've been doing, trying to play team stuff, hasn't worked, so I'm going to just go ahead and go for it. I'm hot, and I'm glad that they rode the hot hand. Matter of fact, the one thing I would say the coach did well that Tyler doesn't get is he tried to ride the hot hand, and he did. He just rode. Paige ain't even sit. I don't think she sat the first half. This is something Tyler Marsh would never do. Tyler Marsh got it in his mind. You're coming out a certain minute and you're out. He don't give a damn what's going on. But to talk about Paige though, I mean, bro, she's hit every possible shot you could possibly hit in the freaking game. You know what I mean? You talking about them 3 balls. And you talking about mid-range shots from all over the place. She hitting turnarounds in the post. You feel me? She getting to the rim. You feel me? She getting the other teammates involved. Like everything you could possibly do, she doing out there on the court. And then she don't quit on the defensive end. Right? She out there just trying her best. You ain't got to hide her. You ain't got to do none of that. You just let her play. You feel me? Dr. Malik, you talking about your poor coach? Oh, you talking about Tyler? Tyler, man, he's either a bum or a dude that got a lot to learn, who gonna make a lot of us, take back our words. But right now, Tyler has not given anybody a reason to speak good on him. He hasn't given anybody a reason to speak good on him. So what is the problem with the Dallas Wings, man? I really had to sit and watch this, man. And I'm one of them people that's so hopeful that Enrique and Paige can work together. And I'm going to have a few things to say about that. But last night, the main reason that they lost the game is defense. Defensive effort, man. And I'm not quite understanding why their defense is so bad. I don't get it. You got Dejanay Carrington, one of the best perimeter defenders in the league. You got Paige Bueckers, who is an above average defensive player. Without a doubt. She has good length, good size, great fundamentals. Above average defensive player. Enrique, who is a good on the ball defender. When I was watching her though, she's not the best team defender. Or when you start doing more complex things on offense. And by that, I mean, this is just an easy way for me to say, you start running screens and you start, running those types of things. She's not always paying attention. If you swing the ball a lot, she'll miss. But she's a good defensive player. If you just put Enrique on somebody, like Enrique, go stick that person. She is good in that situation. She's not bad. She has good length, good speed, good hands. Like, those are things I'm thinking I'm noticing. This is why she was able to lead the league in steals last year. It's not a facade. She really, is good at that. And she did some good. She did a good job of playing lanes last night as well. But overall, it's just way too many moments where the defense is falling asleep. Alyssa Thomas could get whatever she wanted, man. She can get to wherever she wanted. And they just didn't have an answer for what she was doing whatsoever. They didn't have a player that went and could take on the challenge. And it ain't an easy challenge. Like, she's a load. You know what I mean? It's almost like when it comes to like getting to the rim type of thing, with her size, it's almost like dealing with LeBron, for men. It's like she's thick. She's a thick load. So I get that. But like, you got Hines Allen, who got the size but don't have the feet, to stick with her. They just didn't have anybody. That was the first problem. And then, they drawing. The defense is drawing at times where you don't need to draw the defense, leaving all these damn shooters wide open, man. That one shooter whose name escapes me right now, I don't have everything in front of me, was just killing them last night, man. Killing them. And then on the opposite side of it, Dallas, man, they just can't put together a game where Paige and Enrique are good on the same night. For something that we just have not seen that yet. Right? They're just not good on the same night. And right now, when we talk about Enrique is just in a horrible shooting slump. And sometimes this happens with those volume shooters. All the talent in the world, man. And it's not to take away anything from Enrique. Far as talent-wise, she's a top 3 talented guard probably in that league, man. In terms of bag, in terms of moves, craftiness, difficult. She's probably the best difficult shot maker I've seen in the W. But right now, she's in a shooting slump of epic proportions. She just won, what was she, 2 of 10 last night? The previous game I watched her just in a ridiculous shooting slump. Just what the world is going on with Enrique, man? And but what can they do to fix it beyond just a shooting slump? Well, I'm noticing, like, and I get the idea Enrique needs the ball, right, to succeed. But even if you're giving her the ball and you're doing that, like if she goes to another team, is that the formula for winning? I don't think so, right? I think, and this is what I'm not understanding, to be able to play alongside like a Paige Bueckers or whatever, for them to be able to play alongside each other, she only has to tweak a few things with her game. I don't think there's nothing real complicated. What I'm noticing with Enrique is, like, when Paige got the ball at the top of the key or wherever she has it, and they setting things up, Enrique does a lot of just standing the hell around and just kind of watching when she don't have the ball. And this blows my mind about a lot of these players, a lot of these guards. A guard should know that part of what they need to do is move around, right? Like, if I'm the coach, I'm going to have Enrique watch just hours and hours of Allen Iverson. Watch hours and hours of Steph Curry. Watch hours and hours, right, of players, Reggie Miller, players that run around when they don't have the ball, making themselves available. Because when you're playing with a point guard like Paige Bueckers, she's going to find you if you make yourself available. But there's a lot of standing around with the team. Dejanay, who had a decent game, but a lot of times she put in situations where she's not most comfortable, in my opinion, for her game. put in situations where she's expected she's isolated against defenders. That's not really where I think you want DJ Carrington. You kind of want her cutting to the basket, cutting baseline, different things like that. And she was doing some of that, but it's just not enough. You have to keep doing this every time down the floor. And there's too many possessions where they're just like letting the ball. The ball is just in the hand of who has the ball, the ball handler, and they're just standing around, making space and stuff like that. It's like they don't know what they're doing each time down on the floor, and gotta look at the coach for a lot of that. But at the same time, Enrique gotta add more to her game, especially off the ball. If she goes to any team, and really she got to start, because a lot of us were wondering, last year, a lot of people was wondering why, Caitlin Clark wasn't on the damn Olympic team. The person I was wondering about was Enrique. Because Enrique is a player that I felt like if they were playing against France or one of that tough ass game they had against France, I thought Enrique would be a player that could help you because she could just go off and get her own buckets, right? But Enrique, probably the reason why they don't put her on those types of teams probably has a lot to do with the fact that is these things I'm talking about. What do you do when you don't have the ball? When you're on an Olympic team, nobody's just going to hand you the ball and tell you, all right, bring us home. No, they're going to expect you to know what to do when you don't have the ball, and it doesn't seem like she knows what to do. She's just doing a lot of standing around, and I'm like, damn, for somebody to have been in the league all this long, you got to add more to your game, and I hope she chooses to do that. Where on the contrast, on the flip side, if you see when Enrique has the ball, Paige Bueckers, and this could be just from her time with Gino, she knows how to get herself open, try to be active, running around, making yourself available. And I'm just wondering, how does that happen where rookie kind of gets that, but a vet doesn't? It's just crazy, man. The offense goes stagnant because of that. It's just people standing around, watching Paige work, and it just happened to be a night where Paige was, doing her thing, and she was amazing. And scoring last night, amazing. I need to go into coaching. Yeah, I couldn't do that. They'd be done fired me immediately. Said in college, her and Jackie Young took turns on who was going to be the primary. When she got on Dallas, she was the primary. She not used to it. Well, she could be the primary, but in instances where she was the primary here, she was still playing like shit. Paige was just out. What, 4 games? And Enrique, really, the slump she was on happened during those 4 games. So we can't even say Paige is the reason Enrique is slumping or not doing well. You can't even make that argument. That's the crazy part about it. She's just slumping on her own. Said effort. Yes, definitely effort is part of it, without a doubt. Yep. Effort is definitely part of it. Miss Goody Two Shoes, how you doing? She says Enrique is used to losing, so she doesn't put extra effort into playing off the ball. Oh, it looks that way. It does. It looks that way. She don't look like she's desperate to win. It looks like, here we go again, And she spends more time just more so complaining and trying to get foul calls, which I don't see a reason for anybody to do that in the W. Them officials are fickle as hell. They just allow all types of stuff to go on, without calling fouls. You just gotta, I don't know, I guess you gotta play through it. I noticed what happened with Paige is at a certain point they started calling fouls for her, but I think it was because of how well she was playing, and then that was the flow of the game, where the officials are just okay, they're not going to allow the defense to stop this player who's providing, I guess, as much entertainment. I don't know the proper way to look at it. See, honestly, I think this coach has lost this team. I mean, I can't disagree with that. I don't know that to be the case, but I don't know if he ever had him, to be honest with you. I don't know if he ever had him. Because, and this is a good point, a lot of times when you have a player like an Enrique or something like that who has done some things in the league, has, won some scoring titles, who has, earned the respect as one of the best players, sometimes when you bring in a coach, you got to bring in a coach they respect. First question, she going to be like, damn, who is this dude? Who is this guy? You know what I mean? What has he done? Why should I listen to him? And I don't know why this dude got the job, to be honest with you. So it's just as much of a question as, well, I'm not going to say that. When Tyler Marsh got the job, honestly, there weren't too many people that I heard, be displeased with it. A lot of people were thinking, he's from the Aces, he's a player development coach, right? So that I understood. This guy, he's not even from like a winning program or anything around here. So it's like, yeah, that could be that. I think that's part of the problem. I don't know if he's a coach that had to. When you're a coach that comes without a resume, right? You gotta convince those players that you are good, that you're worthy to be listened to, as opposed to coming with a winning tradition already. And I don't think he ever convinced them, right? So it's just that's I think the conundrum they're in and why they just messed up. Says he needs to get a technical or two, have the young ladies feel he will fight for them. Yeah, maybe. Yep. Yeah, Tyler Marsh. I know this sounds crazy, but no, I ain't gonna say that, man. But I was gonna say, I don't know, it is a part of me that feels like Dallas kind of has a little better talent than Chicago, but I can't really prove that because Chicago actually beat Dallas. Their 2 wins were against Dallas. You know what I mean? Though the first game, Dallas really had control and Chicago stole it at the end. Whereas with the second game, there was no Paige Bueckers, and it was a relatively easy game for Chicago to win. See, they allegedly passed Elisa Leslie. Who passed Elisa Leslie? Dallas or Chicago? Miss Goody Two Shoes. You talking about Dallas? Yeah, I feel like Dallas does have better talents. Well, especially at the guard position. Dallas's bigs aren't very good though. It's just at the guard position. But Paige Bueckers though, y'all gonna leave her alone. Damian Fowler. Let me ask you a question. Who's better? Paige Bueckers or Caitlin Clark, Damian Fowler? I'm asking you. Who's better? Caitlin Clark or Paige Bueckers? Let's open that box. That Pandorian box. Who's better, Damian Fowler? Paige Bueckers, Caitlin Clark. You heard me. Why you taking so long to answer? I'm waiting for Damian. He probably writing some old long stuff with a bunch of excuses. Well, you see, what I was saying, you know what I'm saying, probably one of them answers. That's why it's taking a long time. Or you want to avoid it. Because I think they know what time it is. I think they know exactly what time it is. So I am going to talk about that this morning. I'm just holding that off a little bit. But since I got a Clarkie in here, which I'm sure he doesn't mind being called. I mean, he should be a proud Clarkie, Because anyone who says that Clark is better, I want to know why. Why do you think that? That's what I want to know first. Dr. Malik Raheem, of course. That is Caitlin's superpower, the court vision. That's the thing that separates her from people that she's actually separated from. Damian Fowler, you ain't gonna answer? Or you left already? Okay. That question, that scary? I know it's a scary question. It's called Scary Hours. Yeah. Well, if you know the history between those two players, Caitlin Clark and Paige Bueckers, might as well just go ahead and talk about it. F it, right? As high school recruits, as we know, they were the same class, right? Yeah, I know Damian Fowler. He's a regular here. He calls me a hypocrite, all that kind of stuff. You know, I let him because I like to play mental gymnastics with him. He's cool, but he's a little crazy, Clarky. So anyone knows, okay, when they were coming out of high school, they were the same class along with Angel Reese, right? Number one, as most of you probably heard before, was Paige Bueckers. She was the number one recruit. This was followed by Angel Reese, was number two. Coming out back when Angel Reese actually played point guard. And I believe what she had was a growth spurt, right? But even then, her main attributes were, her defense, her energy, her motor, etc. Fourth in that class was Caitlin Clark. All right. So prior to all of that, as far as they were ranked, the popular opinion was that Paige Bueckers was the best out of that class, right? Fast forward into when they get to college, both are off to really good starts. The difference is Paige goes to a much tougher traditional school, UConn, right? There's two ways to look at this. Some people say, well, you go to a school where you have all this talent that helps you to be a better team. That's one way. But it's also harder to make it, to make the cut of UConn too. Not saying that Caitlin Clark wouldn't have made the cut up, obviously probably good enough to make the cut. But it's two ways you can look at that type of stuff. One thing's for certain. When you go to schools like UConn, and this is the male equivalent to probably like North Carolina back when Michael Jordan was there, okay? And the point I'm bringing that up is, you look at Michael Jordan's numbers in college. You're talking about around 17 points a night, 19 points, stuff like that, which sounds extremely mediocre for Michael Jordan. They were numbers he had, type of numbers he had in college, because you playing in a system with a coach that won't allow you to just shoot as much as you want. He won't do that. You had to play along with James Worthy and some other players like that, and you had to kind of share the ball and share the wealth. So your numbers will reflect that. Okay, but he had good efficiency, all of that kind of stuff. Michael Jordan, right? Whereas if you go to a different type of school where you're like the main star, like you're the only 5-star recruit on the team or whatever, and you get to just shoot and everything relies on you, you'll have better numbers, right? Or more numbers, because I don't really believe Clark's numbers were better. Because it depends. It's different ways to look at numbers. You can look at numbers in terms of volume, or you can look at numbers in terms of like efficiency. I prefer to look at numbers in terms of efficiency, because efficiency gives you a better idea of the type of player that a person is going to be, in my opinion. Just on the average night, that's what it kind of indicates to you, what type of player they are. It also looks into the IQ as well, right? Because a lot of times when people talk about basketball IQ, they think it's just the ability to find open players and pass them the ball. That's part of it. But basketball IQ also is shot selection. That's also goes into basketball IQ. And This is why, like, when they talk about the IQ of the two players, Paige's IQ is higher, in my opinion, because I factor in her shot selection. Her shot selection is what goes into her efficiency. Okay? And shot selection, very important to me. I rank that, bruh, very high. Okay? So, basically what I'm saying is Paige kind of always been better. Really, always been. Like that. That's not a new concept. That's not like some crazy thing. But what had happened along the way is, as Paige goes to UConn, Caitlin goes to Iowa. The only thing that interrupted them was Paige Bueckers had, some massive injuries. I think it was either one or two, but one massive one. I know she had ACLs. I think did she have an Achilles? Just someone let me know if she had an Achilles. Jared, you probably know. What was Paige's injury? I know she had ACL. It was a knee thing, right? Because this is actually one of the things that I'm noticing on some Clarkie pages. One of these guys, right? They're saying that she's fragile. Paige is fragile. Right, this type of guy. There's some merciless guys, boy. That's why I don't have a lot of mercy on Caitlin Clark, because they're merciless dudes. Instead of just saying she was unlucky, they'll say she's just fragile. And they, I've seen some Clarky dudes say that Paige won't make it 3 years in the WNBA. These types of things they say, and people wonder why I be going off on them so much, because they're like very heartless, merciless guys, right? So they don't deserve that from us, in my opinion. Eagles brother answers. Eagles brother 92 asks an interesting question. What up? Could Dallas trade Enrique to LA and get some pieces to give Paige some more help? You know what I actually kind of hope? I ain't gonna get into that. I don't want to tick off no Chicago Sky fans. But what I would like to see, I don't care who go where, I would just love to see Angel and Paige on the same team. That's what I want. That's my dream. Even if it takes 5 years later and they hook up like Dwayne Wade and LeBron do later or something. Just be like, look, we need to go build a team. That's what I want to see. Because I think they would just be ridiculous. That's what I think. But who would they trade to LA? Like, who would they trade Enrique to LA? I know you got to tell me who, in order for me to really entertain it. You know what I mean? Like, hypothetically, I guess, yeah, you can trade Enrique for a lot. I'm sure, high picks, a lot of stuff. But I didn't know who you think in particular. A highest Page, that's my brother. How you doing, bro? He says, morning, brother. Paige was on a heater last night. The Sparks as a team missed the second quarter. See, this is what I've been telling people about Paige, though, all year. And you ask some of these dudes out here saying, oh my God, she struggled, or they're like her first game was bad and all. Man, please. Compared to who, her start has been very good. But I never felt like Paige was bad this year, except for the one game against Minnesota. But that's Minnesota. Minnesota got some long defenders. They got very sound defense. They got a genius coach. You know what I mean? They'll make a lot of people look bad and stuff like that, right? But what I'm saying is, Paige Bueckers plays a type of game that I knew, okay, once she gets the jitters out and she's comfortable, bro, she's going to just be lighting stuff up, because all her shots are smart shots, right? She knows how to get, she has spots all over the court that once she gets to, it's like little bunnies to her. It's nothing. Like, her mid-range is that type of mid-range. I cannot imagine this girl, who's 23 years old right now, at 25, 26 years old, just like she'll just It'll be nothing to average 25 points if she wanted to. It'll be like literally nothing because of just the spots she can get to and score. You know, and Taurasi already said she'll be the best. Is that a little bit of a UConn bias? Man, perhaps. You know, but I see what she means. I don't know if I agree because, you know, she might be the best guard, but I think it'll still be a big league. And then you got that monster from USC coming eventually, too. But yes, she was on the heater last night. She's going to be on the heater a lot because the type of shots she takes isn't even about just being hot. They're so smart shots. They're such smart shots, you know. Oh, yeah, Rickea Jackson went off. But Rickea always kills the aces. I don't know what it is. Rickea either got a thing with the aces, but she always kills the aces. And if the Sparks, if the Sparks decide to make Rickea Jackson more central to what they're doing, that's going to change their whole fortune around. Right now, too many times when I'm watching the Sparks, and I love watching Sparks. Y'all know how I feel about Kelsey Plum. That's like, you know, one of my favorites right there. And but it's like too often it's the Kelsey Plum, Derek and Hamby show. And both are good players, but you know, you got to incorporate Rickea Jackson. That's a lot of talent. You incorporate that properly, Sparks can do something because you got Cameron coming soon, right? I love their center as a Ray Stevens. Sparks is the team I think is the dark horse team that if they decide to dig in, play some defense, you know, I think they can. My only problem with the Sparks starting lineup is the Odyssey Sims and Kelsey Plum backcourt. That's the thing I don't, and I like Odyssey Sims. Matter of fact, I would love Odyssey Sims to come to Chicago. That's the player I would love in Chicago is Odyssey Sims. I just think her and Plum is a little too redundant. I really think that's the problem. Next to Plum, you should have a guard that's ideally about between 5'10" and 6 feet tall. You know, who can defend. Maybe that Sarah Barker is probably the player that they're eyeing to eventually play next to Kelsey. You know, I would start looking into that stuff now, to be honest with you. Said Thomas shows up with a lunch pail and a hard hat. Exactly. Yeah. Listen, Thomas, man, I told you. Where's she from? She's from Camp Hill. Camp Hill is a little town in Pennsylvania that a black man don't never want to go to. I'm shocked. Listen, Thomas is from Camp Hill. I ain't know people lived out there. The only thing Camp Hill is known for is penitentiaries and factories. Right, that's it. I didn't know people lived in Camp Hill. And Alyssa Thomas from there. And it ain't no surprise that a person like Alyssa Thomas is from a place like that. Jared Thomas is going on. Says, Paige had an ACL 1 year and Achilles. Yeah. Paige had an ACL and she had an Achilles. Which Caitlin Clark, like, I thought this girl's made out of adamantium. She just doesn't get hurt until now, where, you know, you talking about a bruise, a thigh bruise, and she's out all these games. That's crazy. I thought Caitlin was supposed to come back last night, right? Wasn't she? Against Atlanta? I don't know, like, what happened with that? But she didn't. But then that was the difference in their college careers. And then some also allegedly, you know, many people are saying that what turned people away from Paige was her giving credit to black women's contribution to the basketball. And that turned some people off. And I think that's sad if that's the type of stuff that turns people off. You know, but I think we just live in a generation, man, where people this generation hasn't been educated about the past generation, you know. And is it partly, you know, a race thing? Maybe, but I don't get it. See, I think what happens is it's two things. Number one, I think this is a generation that just doesn't honor those before. That's number one. And then number two, people take it like a personal attack on them if you bring up the race thing. about the past, and it's not even a race thing. You just acknowledge it. Okay, that there were many great black players before. Like that bothers people. I don't understand that. I really don't. But that's what I'm hearing. That's kind of. And Caitlyn never said anything like that, especially back in those days. Uh, so that turned some people off from Paige Bueckers and turned them more to Caitlin Clark. I don't know how true that is, but it's what I'm hearing. And then, but I also believe what happened with Caitlin Clark too was her college story. The way it panned out was very similar to Rocky Balboa's story. Anybody who knows I'm sure most of you know about the story, the Sylvester Stallone's Rocky Balboa. Right, he's a guy that's not the most talented guy in the world. So Iowa's like that. They're not the most talented team, but they play hard. They're tough. They're white, even though Italians are kind of, you know what I mean? People don't want to. They don't know if Italians are white or not. Whatever the case may be, right? But Rocky was always pretty much touted against Apollo Creed, who was just an archetype of Muhammad Ali, pretty much. The most talented, brash black player that talks a lot, talks a bunch of shit, blah blah blah. No, nobody could beat him. He was dominant. And then what he did was he gave this fighter Rocky an opportunity. Who wasn't even a top ranked fighter, and then Rocky gives him all he can handle. Paulo doesn't take it serious. Rocky gives him all he can handle. And I think Iowa captivated the nation in that type of way. It's like this underdog team is just giving, and they got this one player with all this pizzazz and fire and this playing style that just captivated people. And Paige didn't have a similar type of, situation. They said, nah, she up and she with UConn. They got all them 5-star recruits. Like, it's easy to do it. So that, what she's doing, even though it isn't, but it's easy to do what she's doing. So people would say, like, what Caitlyn did in college is more impressive. This to them, I don't know. I kind of agree that it's more like that. It's more like the Rocky Balboa story to go along with her. Because people, they love Kate Martin. It's just that Iowa team. Certain segments of the country, really love that team. You thought it was knees, my bad. Well, ACL is a knee, Dr. Malik. Jared says, Philan, the worry I have with Paige is that her legs are toothpicks. She needs to put a lot of weight on and get stronger. I mean, I know she ain't got to put weight on. She just, just hit the gym, do some squats. You know what I mean? Do some squats. But so far, I haven't seen a problem with her legs. I haven't seen a problem yet. Said Paige would have to come here to Chi-Town. You said Plum. You talking about trading Plum for Enrique? Yeah. Yeah, I don't yeah, the LA ain't doing that. Not saying that Enrique is not as good as Plum. I mean, you can argue she might be, but nah, they're not doing that. Yeah, I wouldn't do that either. Plum is actually one of the rare, like, you talk WNBA players. She's actually kind of a superstar in the WNBA. Like, even before, Caitlyn came. She's like, like, there's no comparison between NBA superstars, LeBron and these guys, to women. But on the level of the WNBA, like, I saw Kelsey Plum before I even started watching or started back watching, right? You see Kelsey Plum on Wild 'N Out. You see her with different commercials, stuff like that. Not saying that's the only reason to keep players, but I'm saying LA, they're not going to trade Plum for Enrique. And that I'm sure Dallas would do it in a heartbeat, but no. What's good at you says, I kind of want Angel in Phoenix. Angel in Phoenix Mercury, getting mentored by AT and Ka. I guess. I just can't. Phoenix Mercury. That's my only thing. But yeah, I hear you. Uh, Unc blink twice if you tap. Come on, man. Paige gonna be the female Cooper Flag. What is the female Cooper Flag? Because I heard of Paige Bueckers before Cooper Flag, so I don't know. I'm not sure what Cooper Flag is going to be. You know, I mean, I guess she's a female Cooper Flag in terms of they both go first and they both in Dallas, but I don't see their games as similar. Cooper Flag is more of a power game, from what I watched, whereas Paige Bueckers is more finesse and smooth, more facilitator, all those things. But you know, that's what I've seen so far. Flag, and he's a power forward, right? Paige point guard. I don't know why they would be similar. Kai's coming back to Chi-Town next year. You heard it here first. Yeah, I would love to see it. I would love to see it, man. Paige Bueckers might end up first team with all W herself if my girl Nescu continues to struggle. She's not shooting great. I don't want to discuss Paige versus Nescu, okay? Because I don't want to hurt your heart. And I like Sabrina a lot. Jared says, Philan, you and me disagree on Plum. I don't love her as a player, but you like Sabrina? Okay. All right, Jared. Diddy, I'm ready to clap cheeks. Let me get this dude out of here. All right, Diddy 8. I just removed your comment this time. Next time, I'm going to just block you. Like, I don't know who you think. You're dealing with grown men, my man. Like, I don't go to them pages where it's like 15-year-olds running the page. Go with TikTok, dancing and all that dumb shit. Like, this really ain't the place for it. You know what I'm saying? Like we was like in person and you was just that dude. I'd be like, yo, grab him. I mean, throw him in a locker. Put a padlock on that shit. That's the way you would get dealt with. Like, this Philadelphia, my brother. Miss Goody Two Shoes says, I'm sure Kai looking at the Chicago Sky organization right now saying, yes, I want to be. Oh, man. You disagree about Plummer? I don't care, Jared. I mean, you're wrong. That's all. The highest house. When is Brink coming back? Any date? I agree to Spark. Yeah, Brink's supposed to be coming back sometime in June. I don't know the exact date though. But it's she coming back though. Said, okay, Kyle loves Chi-Town. This is a new management. We're building a state-of-the-art practice facility. When she comes back to Chicago, she loves it. Hey, I believe it when I see it about Kyle. But it's like, I don't know, man. Seems like they got all that stuff in Phoenix. And if Phoenix starts winning, like I expect they might, I don't see Kyle coming back if Phoenix do the things that they look. If they keep going the way they look like they're going. Phoenix and Seattle are looking like the two teams, man, that a lot of people slept on. That's like, you know what I mean? It might be that deal. Well, and I said that at the beginning of the season when I gave my rankings of the teams. The only thing that's looking a little shaky for me right now is the Aces. I had Aces number 1. That's looking a little shaky. But I'm still 10 toes down with that. Then I had New York, Minnesota, then Seattle, and then I think I went with Phoenix after that. You know? Yeah. Because Alyssa Thomas, that's how much I believe in her impact. So Jared says, I thought so too, but something happened to where she's taking at least another week off. Who you talking about, Caitlin? Yeah, something happened. What happened? She hit that same little bruise spot. She hit it. Roger Brown says CC has court vision, mentality, and gravity. Paige has defense and technically as sound as possible. What do you mean she has gravity? What I don't understand what that's a skill set, or is that how you perceive defenses guard her? All right, let me just talk a little bit, because this is something I'm hearing a lot, right? And this is probably predictably what's going to be going around today after Paige goes out there and scores 35 points in her 7th game, which took Caitlin Clark somewhere around 30 or 40 games, which we're not going to get into, right? Because it ain't all just about points and stuff. What Clarkies are going to be going around saying is, well, Paige Bueckers is able to score that because she's not guarded the way CC's guarded. Like, they act like everyone isn't watching. And they act like Caitlin Clark is guarded with 2 players all the time. Like, they act like as soon as Caitlin Clark gets the ball, she's going up court. She's 2 players in front of her. Like, they like, fuck everybody else on the fever. We're 2 players of Caitlin Clark. Like, if you talk to Clarkies, like, they sound crazy with some of the stuff they're saying. Whereas Paige Bueckers is dealing with regular defense. Well, Paige Bueckers has actually doubled a good amount as well. They also make sure that they, especially last night, they had, I forget her name, but they had like their best, they had a ball hawk like really all up on her last night if you were watching the game. And then it's a lie when it comes to Caitlin Clark. She's not constantly doubled, you know. And then when it comes to gravity, right, there's players that do go to her, and there's a couple of reasons for that strategically. Okay, like I remember playing for a coach, right, that when they scouted players, what they would do is we would double turnover prone players. This is one of the things we would do. So while, you know, it's easy to just assume that, all right, she's being doubled because they're afraid of her, she's just elite scorer, is also, you don't know that they're not doubling her because they know she's turnover prone. Like just rush her so that way she'll make a mistake and turn the ball over. Okay? All of those reasons are why she might get doubled a lot. Get the ball out of her hand. And every team doesn't employ that strategy. When she's playing against Atlanta, they really weren't doubling her like that. It was Ryan Howard just sticking her. Okay? Last year in the playoffs against Phoenix, she wasn't being doubled a lot. So, I mean, I don't know. It's like that thing. And they'll both have gravity, right? That's a lot of players get gravity. Like if you watch Enrique, she gets gravity. Okay, but yes, CZ has court vision. I don't know about mentality. What do you mean by mentality? She has court vision. Mentality. What do you mean by mentality? Are you talking about the ability to recognize open players and get them the ball? Absolutely. But I'm telling you, Paige has that as well. She does have that as well. Like, she's giving you 6.5 assists a night. You know. Like, Paige ain't just defense and technically is sound. That's it. She is technically sound. She does have defense, yeah. But she also has court vision. I don't know what mentality is. And gravity. But the other thing, Caitlin Clark gets stuck 90 feet. Well, I ask you, how would you stick Caitlin Clark? Right? If you have a player whose favorite shot is to shoot the ball from the logo, where would your defenders be? Are you going to guard her from what? The top of the key? No, you're going to guard from the logo because that's where her shot is. Right? You want to take that shot away. I mean, I don't know. Good morning, brother Flan Ariel. Yep, good morning. Benny DeMarble. DeMarlee or DeMarble? DeMarble. So y'all arguing a little bit about Khalid Cabra. Listen, I would love Khalid Cabra to come back. I would love move Ariel Atkins to the 1, have Khalid Cabra play the 2. Any of that stuff. I just don't see it. Like, why, Say, why would Khalid trust Jeff to put together a competent team? Well, see, this is something I wanted to talk about too yesterday. Ms. Goody Two Shoes with this. I'm seeing two different opinions out here. Most seem like people from Chicago Sky fans, are of the belief that Jeff P put together the best team that he possibly could, considering the fact that they have a bad reputation and players don't want to go there. So he picked the best out of what he could. And then you got Angel Reese fans who not really Chicago Sky fans who saying all types of stuff. I'm hearing all types of stuff. I'm not saying I agree or disagree, but the stuff I'm hearing is Jeff P doesn't really like Angel Reese or Camila Cardoso, so he really wants to get rid of them. So he kind of purposely put together a bad team that's not going to succeed. So that way, he'll scapegoat them and trade them. I'm hearing, he like just purposely stuff that I just can't believe, because I just don't believe that stuff. What I'll say is this. I think Jeff P doesn't, to a degree, just don't know what he's doing. Like, I can't even give him that type of credit to be smart enough to do the deviant, the deceitful stuff that some people think he's going to do, that he's doing. I don't even think he's smart enough to do that. Right? I think he would do it some other stupid way. Where he went wrong to me is he didn't pick those players, man, from those spots that aren't normal. Like, I think he went into a talent pool of he went into the wrong talent pool. In other words, he going into veteran players like Kia Nurses and Rebecca Allens, and he went into that talent pool. What he should have done, he should have went into the overseas talent pool. What little players from Australia or whatever that was on the Olympic team in Australia that was knocking down threes and able to get their own shot? Let me go grab some of them players. What about players in Europe, players in Canada, players in South America? That's the talent pool he should have went into. And then I remember it was we had in training camp, he had the girl from Puerto Rico. How did Kid Nurse beat her out, for example? I forget her name. But I was a little excited about that. I'm like, okay. Because I remember the girl from Puerto Rico, she's balling out a little bit in the Olympics. How does Kia Nurse beat her out? That's where I think he went wrong. You have a bad reputation amongst WNBA, but shit, you can find players from overseas. You look at a girl from that Phoenix has. That these overseas girls. You look at Minnesota, these overseas girls that they got, stuff like that. They come off the bench and just be balling out. That's where he has to improve. And for those reasons, I think he should be fired. I don't get why the ownership likes Jeff P. He should be fired because of that stuff, man. You gotta this is a global game now. You gotta go and find that talent. There's really no excuse now, to have a team this bad, full of players that should not be either in the league or should definitely not be on starting spots. It's crazy. I'm hearing, he tried to gentrify the team. I don't know. I'm not jumping on that stuff, right? But shit, if you're gonna gentrify the team, okay, give me some of them girls that can play. That's all. Just give me girls that can play. I don't give a damn what their, persuasion is. Just give me girls that can play. If that's what you're doing. I don't even know if I believe that stuff, but these are things that are out there, man. Israel Villoda says, Paige and CC play so different. Paige is nice. I have to see if Paige can win with average talent. Dallas has talent, though. Enrique, nah. Allen, that's good core, but Paige has a nice game. You have to see if Paige can win with average talent. Who wins with average talent, though? Who? Right, that's my question. Who is winning with average talent? Like, as impactful as Asia Wilson and as impactful as Stewie and impactful as Alyssa Thomas is, you know, and they're not winning with average talent around them. You don't do that in the pros. In the pros, you need talent around you, and then just because there's talent around you, that don't mean talent fits and plays well together. Right, so I don't know if you're trying to make the argument, oh, she can't win with Enrique and this and that. Well, that doesn't mean much. Just them being talented. They have to play together well, you know. So I don't know. I don't know if I get what you're saying. Player Red Ultimate Green Light. With the practice facility, he will have a marketing. So Dr. Malik, I know you hopeful, bro. I see you hopeful, Dr. Malik. You trying to get Kyle there, man. I understand. Yeah, Plum can ball. Yeah, Plum is nice as hell. Simply ball dropping. What's up, K-Sap? Says Paige got the complete bag. Yes, she do. Paige is one of the most polished rookies I've ever seen. Without a doubt. Ty Grew says, good morning, brother. Late to the show, but I'm here. All right, glad you can make it, my man, my brother. And Miss Goody Two Shoes and Dr. Malik, y'all going at it. Paige will dominate the backcourt for 2 more years, then Juju will take over. I mean, look, there's a lot of good guards. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna go that far and just overlook all the good guards here. And just say it's only gonna be Paige and all that. I'm not doing that. But Paige is great. Shamar James says, what's going on, Shamar? Says a lot of Clarkies want to admit the LSU natty, but love talking about Caitlin's leading all scores in college. Plus, every time a player that's better than CC does good, here comes the media. Paul Cyro, what's up, OG? What's up? Dr. Malik Raheem says, James Wade was the coach and GM. They had hired Jeff P. Oh, y'all still going at it. Paige versus Juju is always must-see TV. Their matchups in college. How many times? Oh, yeah, Paige and Juju played each other twice, right? Yeah, Paige won 1 and Juju won 1, right? Juju last year, Juju came for that ass, though. Juju was, like, aggressive as hell. But what I like about their matchups is they'll actually guard each other. That's what I like about Paige and Juju. They both gotta have a similar mentality when it comes to that. Paige just has a better concept for letting the game come to her and playing in the team because she's a little older than Juju, whereas Juju is just aggressive, man. Right now at her point in her career, she's just aggressive. That's all she know how to do is just try to cook, you know. And I like both. I like both ways, both approaches, you know. Said Paige had a 30-point game, and ESPN talking about the Pacers undefeated when Caitlin is there. That's cool. Said Paige Bueckers will always be the truth, but she on a sorry Dallas Wings team. Yeah, but remember, man, you know, Fever were like 0-10 too to start last year. You know, so while they looking really bad. You know, we gotta remember, it was still the same way for the Fever then as well. Dr. Ma, I'm not convinced on the Mercury. I don't think they are a top 5 team. I am. I'm convinced on the Mercury. Paige went off last night. Yes, she did. Benny, I hope so. Sky will get some wins, but heavily relying on Kia Nurse and Rachel Banham for offenses is yeah, you're not gonna get anything done with you got two players on the floor at all times that shouldn't be in the league. Well, one, Banham she shouldn't be in the league at all, on nobody's roster, nowhere, anywhere. She should be coaching, maybe. Okay. And Kia Nurse should be like 10th player in the line off the roster. I mean off the bench. She should be like 10. So positivity alert, Sky beats Dream by 3. Beats Dream, yeah. In our dreams. Peter Small says Paige is cold. Where you CC fanboys? Paige is the truth. Yes, she is. Said poor Sky, we're just doing free angel. Yeah, Sky did Angel Reese wrong. I'm still not to the point where I believe it was on purpose or any of that stuff. I just think they're just bad. I just think they're incompetent. Like, we do things on purpose. Those are the things, that's how you get yourself fired. That's the only reason I don't believe it. I'm not real quick to believe that people act against their own interests. But I do believe people can be incompetent. So Jeff is just clueless. You're right. He doesn't know what he's doing at all. Miss Goody Two Shoe says, good points, Flan. That's what the Vox did. Yeah. Yeah. If you can't get the top, women from America because they worried about your reputation. Grab people from parts of the world where they don't know nothing about your reputation. That's all. You know. That's where I don't give them an excuse. You know. I try to take a position that's somewhere in the middle. I don't go the extreme here or there. Somewhere in the middle. Because I ain't gonna lie, a lot of Chicago Sky fans are a little too patient, a little too understanding. I think maybe y'all listen to what Jeff P is saying and be like, oh, okay, all right, you know. And then some of the Angel Reese fans are like, dang, I know they ain't trying to hear it. They're like, man, they out here doing my girl wrong. Trying to bring her down. Y'all don't like her, y'all don't appreciate her, blah, blah, blah. Listen, I might get there at a certain point, but I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. Yeah, Benny says, yes, been saying that the girl from Puerto Rico should still be. Yeah, how the hell Rachel Banham beat anybody out? That just lets you know right there, it wasn't a fair shake for any of them. They already had it predetermined that these players were going to start. Rebecca Allen, who I haven't had a real problem with Rebecca Allen. I think Rebecca Allen should have a spot on the roster. Kia Nurse can go, and Banham and Jefferson should have been going yesterday, but they're worried about money, right? No, they have guaranteed contracts. Like, see, me, if I'm an owner, I don't give a shit about that. All right, they're going anyway. I'll just pay them. Now give me some other players. You know, like, that's just me. But, you know, maybe I'm reckless with money. You know, that's why I ain't rich, I guess. But I just think win, and then the money will take care of itself. Win first, right? That's the key. That's the root to all success, is winning. Oh boy, here you go. See, here we go. This is the thing. This is why you, Dr. Malik. This is why a lot of content creators are coming at Chicago Sky fans. You saying stuff like this. I agree. Jeff P should be fired, but he got the best team he could. You really believe that man Jeff P went and got the best team he could get? You really believe that? And if you want to do that, you want to talk about Banham and all of that, maybe he shouldn't have traded Mabry then. You gotta, at some point, you gotta hold him accountable. You know, he shouldn't have traded Mabry. Just because a player comes in your office and says, I want to be traded, don't mean you gotta trade him. You know, you can hold on to her. I'm like, listen, no, you here until I get the deal that I want. You know, because with that came what? Damn Jefferson and Banham. You know, he shouldn't have traded it. One brother I know say he thinks that Banham is good as Mabry. So that's funny. I would love to have Mabry on the team. Shoot. Many of the vets he signed had to come with promises. But that's what I'm saying. He didn't have to make those promises. Those promises were mistakes. Those were dumb moves. Go grab a bunch of girls from overseas and put them around Angel and Camilla. Go do that. He didn't have to make any of those promises. Like, you're talking as if, like, he didn't have a choice. It's always a choice. If you look at their team, Minnesota has average talent but a great system. I completely disagree. Those players are not average. Who's average on Minnesota? Are you serious? I know you ain't. Well, Fee, we know. And Mick Buckets, I know you ain't talking about. I know you ain't talking about Courtney Williams. Who are you talking about? Alana Smith and those girls? They're not average. No, they're role players, right? But they are above average players. They're not average. You ever watch those girls play defense on Paige Bueckers and stuff like that? Oh no, those girls can play. No, you're wrong about that, Doc. You're wrong about that. You're just like, I don't know. You're very understanding with the front office there, and you don't have to be. You really don't. Jared Thomas says Angel Reese is underrated. That's fine. See, the thing with Angel Reese is, I've said before, Angel Reese doesn't have a graceful looking game, right? So people tend to get deceived by that. If a person's game don't look graceful, you know what graceful means? Like, it's just smooth and, all of that is beautiful looking. Because her game isn't graceful looking offensively, they assume you can't play. And those are people who just, they don't know the game. And that's all they're looking at. Brian Allen Hines, the Valkyries, Caleb Thornton contract is for $112K. Keener's contract is unprotected $145K. The Valkyries just signed Aerial Powers. Oh, Aerial Powers. You know what you can do with Aerial Powers? For 66. Something is seriously not right with the Sky Man. Yeah, exactly. You see that, Dr. Malik? Look at there's things they can do. You can sign Aerial Powers. Shit, I would have brought back crazy ass Kennedy Carter, because why not? Why not? Like, I'd have brought her crazy ass back. Why not? Since CC was jumping around on the NBA Finals, she should be okay. The Fever are lucky that they got the Pacers winning like that, because that their fan base doesn't care right now, like their real fan base in Indiana. Right now, they don't give a damn. They just know the Pacers are winning. Whereas their national fan base, who aren't really like Indiana fans, they're like making excuses and reeling. Roger Brown says gravity, not necessarily how she is defended, more how the spacing is when she is on the floor. Okay. Yeah. All right. I guess I get what you're saying. Jared Thompson says start Van Lith. Yeah, they might as well. Benny DeMarble. The Chicago Sky needs more dogs, players who get after it. No one is going to give you anything. Exactly. Go take the chip. I don't know if they're taking a chip, but at least take a damn game. How about that? Bright Eyes says Mojo should have been going yesterday, for real. Ban him too, exactly. We are 100% in agreement. The Chicago Sky is fourth in national televised games and are frequently blown out in games. Yikes. Yeah. And for that reason, see, that's another reason, right? That it points to Jeff Paige is incompetent, right? Nobody would purposely do that, because he's asking to be fired, begging to be fired. When you're fourth in nationally televised games, that means somebody's invested in you and in your team. Jeff P should be fired. You can't have a team that bad when there's all that much on the line and there's money poured into the team, an investment. You know, he should be fired. Brian Allen Hines says, I could have constructed the Sky roster with buying out Mariah Jefferson and Rachel Bannerman. Yes, it could be done. Yeah, they don't want to. Janelle Saloon contract with the Valkyries is no more than $79K. Wow. See what I mean? These players from overseas, Saloon and so on. Balling. What I fear may happen is eventually, I think Angel Reese will ask to be out if they continue with this type of incompetence. I don't think in her heart she wants to be out. Like, I think she loves the place. It's her type of town. Chicago is the type of town that, like, somebody, like, black people like, pretty much. I've been to Chicago myself. Been around. I have a friend that lives there. He took me over to the west side or west end, whatever it's called, south side, all over the place. Went to the areas where DePaul University is. We went up there. Went over and saw the lakes area. It was in the summer. Like, I enjoyed myself. Like, I get it. She probably loves Chicago. But what she's going to have to understand is that organization ain't shit. They're not worth, they're just not worth it, And if they continue to do this and show their incompetence, not drafting players that are panning out, and then when they do draft them, you don't give them minutes, they're grabbing from the wrong talent pool, she'll ask to be out. Do you know Jesus? I know how to remove you. Yeah, I don't need you doing that. I don't need you coming here and asking me about Jesus, okay? Yeah, believe in God. Jesus, one of the greatest men who ever lived, all of that. But I don't need, this is called Philan Speaks Sports. It's not Philan Speaks Religion. Don't come in here with that. All right, you want to go play Mr. Righteous, go to a monastery somewhere. All right, and go fast. How about you to go fast and go read the Psalms somewhere, all right? And hope that God forgives you for your sins and accepts you into his kingdom. Don't come here with that stuff. Because most people who do that, you want to start trouble. All right, Dr. Malik Rahim says, I have to go teach my intro to psychology course. Okay. Oh, we got a psychopathology. Okay, we got a psychologist up in here. All right, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. Or another Do You Know Jesus guy. I know about, you know what I do know about? I know about Troll Heaven. Yeah, that's where you about to go. You about to go in a place I call Troll Heaven. Yep. Get Kennedy online. Make the call at least. Yeah, why not? I bet this guy would score more than 52 points with Kennedy. Right? Kennedy gonna give you 20. And that's something I meant to, I was talking about yesterday, man. Or I meant to talk about. I don't know if I got to it. In order for Chicago to work out, right? Because I meant to cook Ariel Atkins yesterday, and I didn't, right? And Ariel's a player I like. I like the fact she got up there and, defended Angel Reese and all of that. But honestly, I don't really care about all that shit. Be honest with you. And I'm not being that's not to be insensitive or anything like that, right? Like, you start winning, you win games, we ain't not going to have to go up there and worry about, press conferences afterwards, whether not somebody's crying. You ain't got to worry about trolls. You ain't got to worry about that. The way in sports, the way you avoid all that shit, you go out there and win. In order for this team to function properly, to do anything, we're going to need Ariel Atkins to score 20 damn points. Period. She has to average 19 or 20. Similar to what Kennedy was giving us last year. Kennedy's giving us like 19.2, I believe, something like that. You got to score 20 points every night, Ariel. Every night, Ariel. 20 points. We can't have these off nights. We just can't have this bullshit, right? Angel got to give us a double-double, period. Like, I ain't got time for the bullshit. I need a double-double, right? We already know it's going to be 13 to 15 rebounds. We need 10 to 15 points every night, right? Camilla, we need damn near close to a double-double. To be honest with you, there's no reason why Camilla shouldn't be grabbing 10 rebounds. And then Camilla should be up around 15 points a night. She should be averaging more points than Angel. And for some reason, she can't seem to do that consistently. But she should. I need 10 to 13 from Angel. I need 15 from Camilla. I need 20 from Ariel. And then the bench as a whole got to give me about like 20. This is what you got to do. Other than that, like, you know, because I can't even put a certain number on Rebecca. All right, Rebecca, I need 37% from 3. I can't even put a number on her because you know what I mean? But from 3, I need 37%. Other than that, I don't need you. Haley Van Liff. We love you, Haley, okay? You're so sweet, little girl. You know, right. I want Haley just going out there trying to look for a shot, man. Look for a shot. 3s, 2s, whatever. To the point where she just gets comfortable doing that. Right now, Jeff, this idiot got her thinking too much. I could just tell. Like, I watched her, watched some of her at TCU and, you know, these other places. When she's thinking too much. Like, when a player is in their mind, they're thinking too much. Oh, my God, she's so busy trying not to make mistakes that she's, like, not being her. She doesn't look like Van Liff to me. Look like she's trying to be Vandersloot. No, be Haley Van Liff. I don't need Haley Van Liff to be Vandersloot. Just go out there and try to score. Like, the hell with having this one facilitator, you know, swing the ball around, move it around. Like, let Ariel just be the starting point, be the primary ball handler. You know, I don't understand what they're doing. I don't. Unless you're going to go pick up McDonald or one of those other players when Caitlin comes back, which I don't anticipate. I just don't think they care enough. They're just not. They're not all in. My man Brian Allen Hines got all the contracts. Got all the contracts, man. What's goody two shoes? Benny, I see what Tyler's trying to do, but it's who he is relying on to do it. Cut to Israel Talk Sports page was phenomenal last night, but the Wings are probably going to have to make some moves. Yeah, you could be right about that. If I'm the Wings, I'm trying to get a big. That's really what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get better bigs. You need more of a consistent big. They probably should have kept Natasha Howard down. I look at it, to be honest with you. You know, their bigs are just very inconsistent. Enrique's in a shooting slump. But eventually Enrique will get back to Enrique. But like I was saying earlier, I don't know if you were here, but Enrique needs to learn she has to learn how to be a better player without the ball. You know, she needs the ball way too much. You know, then to play with Paige, she's got to get better without the ball. Other than that, they'll never be able to play together. You know, you got Paige out there when Enrique got the ball. She's fighting to get herself open. She's fighting for post position. She's running around. She's doing all the things that you could tell. You could just tell someone that was taught basketball properly and listened from someone that's just a baller, street baller, a hooper, but don't really, like, I would just have, like I said, Enrique watch Allen Iverson tapes for just hours. Look at what Iverson is doing when he doesn't have the ball. He's running around, fighting to get himself open all the time. I just see Enrique standing around too damn much, man. And I don't understand it. To the plays, Flan, entire chat, we're cooking you for suggesting Camilla for Rikia. I was saying you have to throw picks on top for a female KD. I ain't got nothing to say. You know, I don't know basketball, all this other stuff. You don't trade Carmelo 6'7" for Rakeem Jackson. I'm doing that so fast that let me just chill. I ain't gonna say them. You know, I'm just keeping. You know, told y'all I'm keeping receipts on that. What did Rakeem do last night? Was it 28? Even though she always cooks the aces though. But that's up to the Sparks. How great they want Rakeem to be. You know, right now it's the Hamby Plum show. And Jared, where the hell you at, Jared? Jared, explain to me how the hell you like Haley Van Lith, but you don't like Kelsey Plum. Just break that down to me, bruh. Yes, I just thought about that. You talking about you don't like Kelsey Plum, but you love Haley Van Lith. Explain to me how the hell you love Haley Van Lith's game, but you don't like Kelsey Plum game. Yeah, break that down. So you trying to watch that game while you work today? So you're giving her a brief pass? He said, Rakia showed us why she's the most complete scorer in that class 4 level bucket. Yeah. Rakia is that 3 level scorer. I always love to have one of them on the team. Game similar to Paige's in a lot of ways. Said Philan, I have a problem with CC fans saying that Angel Reese was always a role player. I mean, you know, a role player who in college led her team in scoring and rebounding. Okay, I mean, obviously they don't know who she is, or they haven't done their research. That's stupid. But most CC fans probably think anyone that's not a guard is a role player, because if you don't understand what you're looking at, you think because guards are always the primary ball handlers that they're like role players. That's probably what they think. They're looking at that. They probably think Flaugier was really the star or something. You know, they're stupid. You know, the ones who say those things. Not all of y'all. Some of y'all might be in here. You know a little something. Like my man who was in here a little earlier. He pretty smart. So HBL's trying to be slewed, exactly. Ariel should be primary ball handler, exactly. Brian Allen Hines, I'm sorry, but I won't be watching Sky games tonight. I like to look at competitive loss games, not blowouts. Yeah, I feel you, man. I feel the same way, but I'm going to watch because, I mean, you know, I don't know. I'm one of them loyal guys, man. See, the opposing teams don't even respect the shooters on the sky. That's why they crowd the paint. No doubt. No doubt. Jared talking about, here you go with your weak ass explanation. Jared talking about, I can't explain it, Philan. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I know it don't make no damn sense. But there's just something about HBL's game that I like, and about Plum that I struggle with. Yeah, all right. I think you're looking at something. I don't think you're looking at game at all. I think you're looking at something else that you like about some damn Haley over Plum. That's what I think. Jared with that bullshit explanation. Tuna Play says, cut the ish, real talk sports. When you live next, Keisha. Cut the ish, real talk sports. Oh man, but yeah, we up on damn near hour and a half, man. It's been nice rapping to y'all. It's always nice, you know what I'm saying? Just wanted to talk a little bit about that, man. Give Paige Bueckers a flower. She went out there, balled out, finally came back. You feel me? Aces Dynasty is over. I don't know about that. Shouldn't have got rid of Plum, though. That's where it's looking. But I don't know about that. Say Benny DeMarble, awesome show today. Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, let me go ahead, man. Let me go ahead and get some work done. I'll get with you peeps later. Peace out.